Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Umbrella Fight. If it's not obvious from the title, this is a podcast about video games. I'm Nathan. I've been here for not very long, considering I started the podcast, and it only started 4 weeks ago?
Something like that.
My co-star is with us, Devin. Devin, how you doing, man?
Doing fantastic today. I can't complain at all.
No one would listen if you did, I promise.
That's right.
We lament the loss this week of our fellow co-podcaster, John. He's not here. He's off in another country.
Yeah.
Hanging out with family, probably having a better time than we are.
I was going to say, yeah, doing better than us, probably.
He's in a beautiful country, get to see his family, hang out, have a good time. Yeah. I'm a little jealous, not going to lie. But yeah, so let's just jump right into it. This is a podcast about video games, so we're going to talk about exactly that. We've got some good topics for today, so we'll just jump right in with the first one, and that is the big Battlefield 6 reveal.
Huge.
Me, personally, I'm not a Battlefield 6 Battlefield guy in general. Well, really military shooters, but I have played plenty in my day, and the trailer looks good, even though it's kind of like...
It's a trailer.
Yeah.
You know, they can make a trailer look however they want.
Cinematic.
Yeah, exactly. Cinematic. That's a great way to put it.
I can appreciate a cinematic trailer, but they didn't show any gameplay footage, which is fine because at the end, the reveal says that there's a multiplayer demo coming on the 31st.
Yeah,
so
we'll see some live on the 31st.
Yeah, I think from my end, there's not too much to react on this because it is cinematic and you can make it look however you want to look, and that's fine. But when they get in some gameplay in front of everybody, that's
we'll tear it apart.
We'll rip it apart for sure.
Let's go.
Or build it up. You know what? Yeah. I'm hoping it's good.
The phrase that I'm living by right now with it is hoping for the best, expecting the worst. That is my mantra for this.
Yeah. Well, if anything's an indicator of success, putting Beavis and Butthead in your characters is not that.
Right.
So,
that's the memes. Everyone's like comparing it's like Call of Duty versus the new Battlefield coming out. And it's the picture of Beavis or like the American Dad.
Oh, the American Dad one is so good. With chin, giant chin.
The ginormous chin.
Oh, man, I'm dying. Yeah.
What a joke.
If there's anything that's an indicator of success, it's definitely not that. And hopefully we won't see any Beavis or Angry Beavers in the Battlefield 6.
I don't want to see beavers on my Battlefield.
No beavers on the Battlefield. That's what we're looking for. And you know what? I just realized we don't have too much to say on this topic, to be honest. It is just a cinematic trailer. I will say this. It looks phenomenal.
Oh, dude,
the team put something together that looks stellar.
Yes. I mean, here's the thing is the trailer, although it's cinematic, they're still utilizing the game engine. So you're seeing the graphical fidelity. You're seeing the lighting that they're going to be using.
It does say in-engine footage, meaning it's not pre-rendered.
Correct.
I'm okay. I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's
actually really nice.
That's fantastic.
Nice tech demo to show off like all those buildings coming apart.
The physics.
Yeah,
I think that's what's
nice.
That's what's always most exciting about a Battlefield game is they're separated from all the other FPSs because they bring in a whole nother environment, which is the environment, right?
Right.
Battlefield, it is it's in the name. It's what you want out of the game. It's not just about the shooting. It's about the place that you're shooting in, interacting with you in a way that's different from a Call of Duty where you have, the visuals may be very similar as far as structures go, but you're not interacting with that.
Oh, yeah.
That level's, it's there and it's not moving. It's the same.
You shoot a wall, you get a decal of a bullet hole, and that's about it.
Yeah. What was, I think, impressive about some of the physics demonstration in that cinematic, and I hope a lot of people notice this, is the building destruction is one of those big staples of the Battlefield franchise, bringing down an entire building, and like in Battlefield 4 when they started doing that type of massive destruction in a map, completely changing the landscape of the world that you're playing in. It was these buildings essentially had a health bar, right? And
sure,
as you damaged them or you completed a procedure or something like that, depending on the size of the building and how you would take it down, it then just rendered and it said, okay, I'm going to collapse. And it went through its collapse process.
It's like an animation.
It was an animation. It was
death animation.
Yeah, it was a preset, determined way that it was going to crumble. What looked really interesting and what I'm, excited to see if it is as it seemed in the cinematic trailer or the demo that they showed us there, was as a helicopter flew into one of the buildings, you saw the destruction of the building happen at contact point with the helicopter as it flew through the building, indicating maybe the physics of the structure of the building. There's actual physics structure to the building. In other words, there's support points, there's crumble points, and the building fell according to how the helicopter actually hit the building, which is sick.
That's kind of amazing,
like,
right?
Throw a grenade at a weak point in a building and you can tumble it down.
That opens up so many strategic things you can do.
Think about setting, traps with C4 or something like that on a bottom of a building to take it down in a particular way that maybe would keep you alive on one side. You know what I'm saying? There's so much possibility depending on how they actually execute on this.
Sure.
I think it would be fantastic if it really was that detailed.
Yeah, for sure. I did notice that when it was colliding with the building and helicopter, it fell apart brick by brick. I was watching the cinder blocks just rip apart. And as an in-engine demo, not a pre-rendered cutscene, it's easy enough to put bricks wherever you want them in a pre-rendered cutscene because you can make it do whatever you want. But if the in-engine is operating the way I'm hoping it is, again, I want this game to be good. So but if it's operating the way I hope it is, all of the bricks have their own physics. It's getting calculated out what that would look like if a helicopter crashed into it. It's hoping for the best, expecting the worst.
I'm telling you, it's a great way to look at it because, man, there's so much potential in a game like Battlefield for just awesome amount of fun. We saw that through Battlefield 3 and 4. You guys know my opinion already on Battlefield 1.
Absolutely.
Not an atrocity of a game, but I absolutely did not like it. I put to better words, I think, through this week. I think I was talking with John again off the air, and we were talking about some of the older guns, and one part I didn't articulate was, it was the hackers were a lot of my big issue with it, being sniped across a map. But I think that was my point, is it's a World War I game that I was getting sniped from thousands of yards away.
It shouldn't be possible.
That's not possible.
Guns weren't that good.
They were actually on horses with bayonets. So why are we sticking to that, right? Let's stop sniping at that. And anyway, that was just a little ad lib there.
No, I think I'm with you on that. You got to be semi-realistic.
So, but with the franchise, man, I mean, that is an incredible opportunity to just crush it. They have everyone captivated. Everyone is very hesitant because they failed in the last 3 games.
Yeah, earlier off the air, we talked about Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, and then you mentioned 2042. I didn't even know that shit came out. Didn't even hear about it.
And anyone who did doesn't want to talk about it because it was so bad. It's
10-foot pole situation.
It was like it was the stuff you keep. It's like the family secrets, the family tea that you don't talk about because it would cause so much drama, right? Like you just kind of put it in the closet and everyone just tries to not talk about it and forget about it because it was just so traumatizing. That was 2042 for the Battlefield community.
Oh, I feel for them. The people who like those games, that sucks. When you get a concrete like core entry in the series and it's just dog shit.
Yeah, and they promoted it fairly similarly to the expectations were extremely high for it in the same way Battlefield 6. The trailers looked amazing. The maps looked incredible. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a great game. And then when they came out, man, it was an absolute flop and nobody enjoyed it. There was not just a singular point that was terrible. There were like multiple fail points. I don't even know all of them. I didn't even dive into it after I saw how negative the game was coming from the previous Battlefield 5. I was like, nah, I'm not going to touch it. So.
You know what I would love to see out of these games, and this is more of like an overarching thing that they need to do in general, but I would love to see a main menu that isn't littered with ads. And it's not advertisements for bags of chips or Mountain Dew or anything like that. It's ads for their products, like buy the battle pass, buy this, do that, come over here to the store and do that.
You're not going to see that.
I know I'm not going to see that go away. What I'm getting at is that if you had a clean opening menu, that might indicate that you're in it to create something enjoyable that the end user wants to enjoy, not sell them something. Because at the end of the day, you are selling me a product. I get that.
Yep.
But I don't want to be hammered over the head with it
but
if I've already dropped $60 on the fucking thing.
You already sold the product.
Yeah, you don't need to continually sell me the product. I mean,
Tell
I
that
don't
to
know.
the shareholders.
I know. I know.
They
It's
do think
the money.
It's a one-time payment. How they got to keep getting paid.
Yeah.
They want that number go up, just like we want it in games.
Recently, Ubisoft just responded to something about that sort of thing. I can't remember the context of this, but basically somebody from Ubisoft said microtransactions make the game more enjoyable for the consumer.
Out of touch.
So out of touch. Oh my God.
It
doesn't make the game more enjoyable. It gives me a reason to give you money if I'm playing a free-to-play game. That's the only trajectory that microtransactions, in my opinion, belong. On a free-to-play game where the developers need a continual, like, take a Rocket League. Rocket League is a prime example.
Mm-hmm.
I've willingly spent money on Rocket League because it was free.
Yeah.
And I want them to keep putting out cool skins from my car,
Yeah. I paid for Rocket League.
Well, technically I didn't because somebody bought it for me, but same.
Yeah. I think it's $20. Dude, that was like my favorite $20 I think I've ever spent on a video game.
Yep.
Is in Rocket League. I wasn't upset that they made it free, but I don't think that they rewarded those who paid the $20 enough.
Yeah.
I felt a little
That's
weird.
a whole nother
another rabbit hole. we could go on a side tangent for that. But microtransactions, I think what you're talking about is true. Like the free to play games, they have the right. You're walking in there and you're going into the building for free, right? You're getting the game for free. The devs are just saying, hey, by the way, since we gave you this game for free, maybe you can throw us something our way to say thank you for it.
100%.
That's fantastic. I think that's wonderful. When you're a AAA or quadruple A or whatever, studio, whatever, how many A's you want to talk at this point, type studio, and you're producing games like a Call of Duty or producing a game like a Battlefield 6, the expectations when you deliver that product, I want to purchase your product. And I want to enjoy your product. I don't want to then have to continually purchase your product over and over and over.
Right.
It's just not going to translate to the executives when they're looking at it from a financial standpoint because they are still hosting the dedicated servers. They are still developing, parts of the game and, bug fixes and things. But I feel maybe the point is it doesn't continually drive revenue, and that's what they don't like because you could bake that into the initial purchase price, but they want to get that purchase price as low as possible that's basic economics, lower that initial buy point in,
right?
And then the smaller the transactions throughout the whole process, they're going to end up making more money. It sucks.
This is Fortnite's fault, really.
That's where it really started, yeah.
Because, I'm sure microtransactions were a
they've
thing
been
before
there for
Fortnite,
a long time,
but what I'm getting at is that the success of Fortnite is the issue
Correct.
because one investor saw dollar signs in massive numbers. I mean, they've almost cleared $6 billion for last year's numbers alone.
Insane.
And it's billions year over year.
And that's all the shareholders
that's all the shareholders want to chase now. Absolutely. Yep. That's all they're looking for. And that creates frustration because the players, they want good games, not necessarily money-making games. And those two can be the same thing, a la Rocket League or Fortnite even. Fortnite's free.
Right.
But there can only be a handful because at some point, if every developer puts out an online persistent microtransaction heavy game, the player bases in general will shrink.
So here's the split. This is where the controversy happens is players say that they don't want the microtransactions, but their wallets speak otherwise.
Right.
So when shareholders look at just the fundamental data, because that's all they look at, right?
That's all they can go off of right
sure.
now.
Yeah, most of them are not gamers. They're running businesses.
Right.
And when you're looking at it from that perspective, they look at the numbers, they go, yeah, no, these players love these microtransactions. They are purchasing. We dropped a new skin. Everyone bought it. There's like 70% adoption rate in this entire game. They're looking at that number and they're going, they love this skin. And
they're not wrong.
They're not wrong.
That's the thing is that we have enabled them as consumers.
Yep. And I think what's unfortunate is that maybe it's that they're here's the problem is we do want it, but is it we want it because their marketing is so dang good? Or do we want it because we actually want to see those items in the game? The Beavis and Butthead in a Call of Duty, initially everyone's making fun of it, but also everyone owns the skin. So
right.
What's the disconnect? Did we get sold? Are they good salesmen and we're purchasing things that we don't actually want? or do we really want them and we're just upset that we got sold?
Man, well, there's the third option.
Go ahead.
The third option is that, so I'm operating off of the standpoint that primarily dudes play this game.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Okay, and I'm speaking from a dude perspective, so I'm not going to presume what women might think, but I can tell you as a dude, I might buy a Beavis and Butthead skin just to make you guys laugh. That's it. I might spend $20 to make Devin in my party laugh 100%. That he's having to play alongside Beavis.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
That's the issue is that I might laugh at it, and you might laugh at it with me. We both think it's completely stupid, but at the end of the day, it translates to the company as we created something somebody wanted, and there is the disconnect. Is that I just wanted to make you laugh, but I can't tell the boss man that. I can't say it's funny, and I bought it simply I gave them my money. So that's what it boils down for them. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care that you bought it within satire,
yeah,
right? Like this was a satire purchase.
Yeah.
It was not because I enjoyed the product. It was because I'm essentially making fun of your product, but I bought it so that I could make fun of your product.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate dichotomy, isn't it?
But it makes them money, so that's all they care about, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, they did get a laugh out of me for $20.
I expect the Battlefield 6, they have a history, and they definitely use microtransactions. Now in Battlefield 4, they used a premium pass. They used like this, and it unlocked a bunch of different things for you in the game. That allowed you to either progress faster, get access to different guns or cool little items, but they definitely weren't game breaking. And it wasn't 100% necessary until towards maybe the end, while everyone was using these new maps. It was a part of the expansion maps.
Sure.
But it didn't feel like like a Beavis and Butthead integration into a world that didn't belong. I think that's maybe the joke with the Beavis and Butthead is you have, I saw another side-by-side image where you have the Beavis and Butthead characters below, and then you have a previous Call of Duty campaign screenshot where it's like this intense moment of like this military combat, leaders going through tragedy. Maybe all of their men died and there's a fire in the background, and it's like this intense emotional picture of this man in distress because he lost all of his men. And it's like, this is what Call of Duty used to be. And then you have Beavis and Butthead.
Okay, I do have to ask though, is this just a case of old men shaking their fist at the sky saying my old thing used to be a thing and now it's a new type of thing and I don't like the new thing?
Well, there's definitely a part of that. There's a part of it where it's like the games used to be this way, and we would like to as our generation, is gaming and the world of gaming is evolving, and you kind of get pushed out. That's the natural cycle. We can talk about it in music as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
We touched on that even off the podcast earlier, where every generation has their set of songs that get completely dismissed by their children because they have no emotional attachment to this.
Right, they didn't grow up with it.
There's no sentiment to this song. What is this song?
Yeah.
This sounds nothing like what I enjoy. And it's the same thing with video games, right? We grew up with these games. We built a relationship with these games. And so when we look at the new version that we expect to be the same as, there's going to be some disappointing factors. I think what's different about this situation is you're taking the environment that is still touted as a military shooter, right? As a Call of Duty, for the best example right now, the Call of Duty shooter is a military game, and in the multiplayer mode, they're adding things in that are completely outside of that setting that kill the immersion. And what you go play a Call of Duty game. I mean, maybe this is how you used to play it, but you used to go play a Call of Duty game because you wanted to be this military guy going and running and gunning and killing people. And
it's a little bit of a power fantasy,
Sure, yeah. There's a part of that feels cool.
I have control of this section of the map. No one's touching me.
It feels
That's
cool. I've got this gun and I'm ripping through people. I'm the tactical SEAL guy that can conquer everyone. And
yeah, but now you get to do that and be Cornholio.
Sure, right. And see, but that maybe that kills the immersion, and maybe that's
vibe,
what we're missing.
It doesn't, not even immersion, just vibe,
Yeah.
It doesn't even. I don't have to be immersed.
Call of Duty
in
wasn't
game per
immersive,
se.
yeah.
But
Not
it does.
from a
It does
multiplayer
silly up the vibe, and I think for some people that's a put off. And well, bringing it back around to Battlefield, I think if they avoid one, making a crap game. Obviously, that goes without saying. But two, if they avoid marketing it in a way that is like, check out our badass game. Look at this other horse shit over here. You'll never get Beavis in our game. They have to avoid saying it outright. All they have to do is make a badass military shooter and make it fun to play.
And they really,
that's it.
You know, this is the other aspect of Battlefield. I've never played a Battlefield campaign.
Oh, wow.
I've only played their multiplayer, which I talked to a couple other people, and they're the same way. They haven't really explored the campaigns because they've never been really compelling. They never felt good. So, especially the initial like opening scenes are typically really weird, and never hook you in. They don't feel like the multiplayer. It doesn't feel like you're playing Battlefield in the campaign. So I can't even tell you if the stories were good because I've never played them. But I'll tell you what, that campaign preview of it's like a united attack on the United States, and as a patriot, it's like, yes, hoorah! Let me defend the country, baby. Like, let's do this.
I felt that too. Watching it was, I thought they learned a thing or two from movies.
Yeah, when the president of the United States stands at a podium and is like, we need to do something about this.
Yeah.
There's something that rises up in you as an American, and you're just like, hell yeah,
1,000%. Let's go.
Let the American flag fly.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that for sure. I think it'll be good. I have high hopes for it. But like you said, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll just see what I'm curious to see what the multiplayer looks like. And honestly, I'm curious what they have to say about it. You know, because they're going to do this multiplayer reveal. They can't just get a bunch of dudes up there and show them playing the game. They're going to have to talk about
they'll show features.
Explain themselves. Explain yourself.
Yeah.
Please.
Man, if they demo a building crash and it is what I anticipate, oh man,
they have an opportunity to
excited.
Seize the Call of Duty player base in a way that they've never had before. And if they don't squander it, it'll be awesome.
They really do. They can capsize over what is currently
an
Call
industry
of Duty.
titan.
Yeah. They could win it over if they play this right.
Yep. But we'll see. I don't know. I just realized that we kind of jumped right into Battlefield, and that's more of like a news what's happening subject. So let's pivot back a little bit to what you've been playing. I would like to know that. What's on your game plate right now?
Yeah, same old. We've got I'm still trucking my way through Dragon's Dogma.
Get to the reveal.
Yeah, man.
I know I've hyped it up.
It is this is probably going to take me so long to finish because I'm also going through school and stuff like that as well. So
yeah, but that's okay.
My game time in stuff right now is pretty low. With that being said, it's still, it's a fantastic game.
I kind of want to play it. You're all talking about how awesome it is.
I will not stop playing this game until I beat it.
Awesome.
I will complete this game. It has a hook in me, and I won't stop completing it. Like it's not gonna be a Witcher 3 situation where I started it 600 times. I want to complete this game. It feels incredible. The stuff that you can do in the game is really cool. I love having a squad with you the whole time. You have this additional 3 characters with you the whole time. You can rotate them out, build out their different builds or whatever. You have one main what do you call it? It's a little companion. I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head right now. But you have
familiar.
No, they're like these. Man, what is the term? I'd have to look it up.
Chocobo.
Yeah.
No, I'm
sure,
just
whatever. It's there's some like magical, like spirited, like often a different realm creature. Essentially, they're human looking, but they're not human. They're more of like spirits, if you will, that kind of roam the earth and then serve that kind of main character. It's cool.
Right on.
But with that, like you have this squad with you, you get to deck them all out, you get to make them who you want, and they have personalities. They have like personality traits, which is super cool.
That's cool.
Like some are more like go-getters, some are more just very loyal to you, some are like helpful, some are aggressive and don't really like you. It's super interesting. So they actually behave different. Some will just go off and they'll find a chest on their own. And be like, hey, I found a chest. You might want something out of this. And then others are like right by your side, like, I've got you, master. Like, you are the one. I'm here for you. You let me know what you need. It's like really interesting, and they do this dialogue just all the time. Like as you're roaming around, like you have a guy just like running off in the distance, like, oh, I see something, I'm gonna go look at this. And you're like, where are you going? Like,
homie, wait.
Yeah, keep up with us. What is happening?
That's so cool that they have like unique.
Yeah.
Oh, let me go over here.
And like you'll have like a mage with you, and like if you get one that has a little bit more exploratory features, he'll just like blow up rocks randomly to search for stuff. So you're like just chilling. All of a sudden you hear a massive explosion. You see him shooting a fireball at a massive boulder that was blocking a secret path, and you're like, what the hell? Like, where did this come from? Good job, buddy. But you could have said, hey, I'm about to blow this rock up. Prepare yourself.
Yeah, right.
It's super funny. But it feels really cool because you've got this whole gang with you. You're still like the hero, quote unquote, working out of, you're the underdog right now, and you're working your way out, hopefully to become, what you're supposed to be in this world. So the story's there. It's the hero, a classic hero arc, come from nothing, become everything.
Oh, totally.
And you've got your secret supporters, or your small group of supporters, if you will. Your infiltration, it's getting political too. Like you're inside of this kingdom, and you're working your way up through someone who is falsely claiming that they are the chosen, the arisen. And, you're basically trying to combat and reconvince everyone, hey, I'm the true arisen. And so it's getting political. You've got to like sneak into these secret banquets and like do weird little things to grab pieces of information to go bring back to like, I think it's some sort of a military general or like some advisor high up level in the kingdom who knows that this person is a false arisen. And so you're like, it's like espionage, right? Like I'm going through and we've got a coup essentially of like
what even is this game? That's crazy.
It's really, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's got its teeth sunk into me. Like the story's there, the gameplay feels great. There's so many different ways to play the game because you can build your group dynamic, you can build your character dynamically, you can build your group dynamically, and you can always swap it around and rearrange for the particular fight that you're going to go up against.
Sick.
So there's a lot there. I'm definitely going to complete it, but I haven't gotten too far in the game. I'm still at that, like, it's the first initial, like, big city that you get to that's got stuff going on. I don't know how far I am into it. I'm staying blind. I'm not looking anything up. I have no spoilers. So it's just an experience. I'm just going through it and enjoying the game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Anything else on your plate?
A little bit of RuneScape, but we might touch on that later.
Yeah. RuneScape.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had mentioned a topic that you want to bring up. We'll bring that up in a little bit. I am playing Schedule 1 almost exclusively right now.
Yeah, you are.
It's got its teeth in me real good.
The drug dealer Nathan.
Golly. Actually, I'm going to use this opportunity to pivot into a kind of topic that I had written down, and that is what Schedule 1 represents. Schedule 1 represents, in gaming right now, the middle finger to AAA studios.
Love it.
And what I mean by that is that you've got these giant corporations, these thousands and thousands of developer-strong studios, and they're putting out these games.
Man, the budget for Battlefield 6, I think, is something like $400 million.
Right. They're spending insane 9 figures on these games, making these products. And some dude in, Australia made this game that is number 4 on the concurrent player count for Steam. It's eating their lunch. And as
good for them.
As a piece, yes, good for Tyler. Golf clap, man. As a product, it represents the antithesis of what AAA studios are putting out in the hopes that gamers will buy, because it's not what they want. Yes, you're going to see some sales of Battlefield 6 no matter what, even if the game is shit. Yes, you're going to really, really get some good-looking games. The games look amazing. I'm not saying the art department isn't doing their job.
Right.
What I'm getting at is that they don't want to play it. Gamers don't want to play those games. They don't want to touch it because I don't know why. Is it too something, too generic, too whatever? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because Schedule 1, something on the smallest scale possible, single dev, is eating the big company's lunch. And it represents a middle finger to graphical fidelity, because the game is super simple. in terms of graphics. It represents a departure from a persistent online need to sell microtransactions. It represents a bunch of people coming together and just plain old having fun in this little tiny universe. And this early access game, this number 4 on the concurrent players count charts, is exactly at the right place at the right time to capture gaming as a whole's attention. And I think you're going to start to see this more and more. And you have seen this in the past. It's just not on this scale, because in a little while we're going to see a $400 million game, Battlefield 6. And when Schedule 1 releases out of early access, will it outsail Battlefield 6? Maybe. It's not a no.
Yeah.
In the past, indie games never would have had a dream to outsell a AAA Studios game, because you would have had to go to a store and buy it, or the indie game pathway wasn't carved out. Pre-Steam, it was super difficult to get your tiny game off the ground.
Or pre-large Steam, even.
Pre-large,
Steam has been around a long time, but the amount of influx of indie developers that are producing on Steam and having success.
Yes, absolutely. And I think Schedule 1 also represents something that AAA studios will never do, and that is the openness of the development process.
Yeah.
I have access right now to Tyler's Trello board. Everyone
you
has
essentially
access.
can message Tyler directly.
Essentially, I can jump on his Discord right now, and there's a little forum with each section of ideas, AI or music or whatever. You just hop in there, say what you want, and then perhaps, most likely, Tyler or one of his buddies will respond and be like, "That's a great idea. We'll put that in the game," and you'll see your idea float to the Trello board
That's
on
amazing.
upcoming. Just watching that unfold.
It's transparency.
Yes, it's transparency on a level that if AAA studios were that open, maybe they might garner a little more goodwill for their player base.
There's and this is a little bit off topic, but in the same spirit, there's a vendor that we work with in our company that boasted about 50% of all feature requests are fully pushed through when they come from partners.
50%?
50%.
So I have like a 50-50 shot of saying something and somebody going, "Yep, that's a good idea. Let's put it in."
For this vendor in particular, that is how they approach their feature development, because they said, look, you guys are the ones using our product every single day. When you request something, it's because you need it.
Yep.
And if it makes sense, and most of the time it does, because again, you're using it every single day, we're going to put it in for you so that you stay with us, so that you can continue enjoying our product, and it becomes easier for you.
Yeah.
In the same way, that's what we're seeing with the indie developers, right? Is you're getting this direct access and you're seeing those feature requests be approved. And you're with more transparency though, even because you're saying, "Hey, I want this feature added in." And you're saying they take that and they put it on a public board of, "Hey, this is what we're doing." So you're seeing the whole workflow internally of their company.
Real time.
Real time of your feature request being approved, put into development, and then implemented.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what people want. They want transparency.
Yeah. And actually, because of the nature of being an indie developer, having such a small company or even just being a solo guy, they have an advantage that AAA studios don't, and that is lack of complexity. Lack of complexity.
Yeah,
complexity brings to the table, especially with large companies, a speed problem. The speed goes way down because you got to go through this
bigger
department.
monster.
You got to run it by the shareholders. You got to get it approved from this department, but this department doesn't quite like that. We got it. Yeah, you have to go through a change management process.
Right.
And I get that with a large game. It's hyper.
$400 million on the line.
It's $400 million on the line. You're right, and so it does mean
hundreds
something.
and hundreds of people's jobs.
Yes. So maybe the solution isn't just opening up pathways for having community managers or feedback forms. Maybe it isn't that. Maybe it's because your game is too complex.
Oof,
you're overdoing it. You're trying too hard. They
have to push the bounds. It's the Mr. Beast conundrum. Every video has to top the previous.
Yeah.
Every game has to top their previous version. And when you do that, you eventually are going to hit a wall where, yes, it will be on a technical level better, but on a fundamental enjoyment level, you lost it.
Yeah, you lose sight of the core point of video games, and that is to have fun, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's really unfortunate because I would love for Battlefield to have a quarter of the budget and still put out the same product. Could they do that? I don't know. But all I know is that they are gambling $400 million on a huge project with a bajillion moving parts. And Schedule 1 is over here with almost as many concurrent players as they're ever going to see, probably.
Right.
Who knows?
It's
I don't know.
insane to me. You know, we saw that with Valheim. It was like it's a survival craft.
Oh yeah, I love Valheim.
Fantastic game. Small dev studio. I think I don't think they were quite as well. I don't know the size of their team in particular, but it was a really small dev team. And I remember when they I respected this at a whole nother level, man. When they popped off and had their success, they went from nothing all the way, I think, to 20 million in sale, 20 million copies sold.
20 million?
20 million copies sold.
Oh, that's the budget of Battlefield.
You know what their first
$400 million.
You know what their first announcement was?
What?
We're going on vacation.
Yes. That's so awesome.
The team is taking a break.
I love that. Yes.
We're going to enjoy the fruits of our labor. And then they came back and they cranked. And they continued to push content and made an incredible game that it is today. Like, it's still an extremely playable. Honestly, I would say it's one of the, outside of a Minecraft, right? It is one of the best survival crafts that you can play. It has incredible features into it, and they just expanded it. And I loved that they said, look, we were a small dev studio. We're excited that we finally had our breakthrough and success. Because on the back end, before that release, before Valheim it even had the name, they have been grinding, developing, brainstorming, right? They had the whiteboard sessions. That small team worked their tail off for years and finally got a payoff. And it's like, that's that's how you know it was passion, not profits. They said, man, we finally did it. Let's celebrate.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy this for a moment.
That's so cool. That's
awesome.
inspiring. I didn't know that story. That's way awesome.
Yeah.
I love that they had the
may have
wherewithal.
pushed out some bug fixes, but it was.
they
did not push any major agendas for. I think it was 3 to 6 months.
That's stopped. A long vacation,
dude. It was like less than 10 people pulled in like $60 million.
I can't even wrap my brain around that.
In less than 2 months.
Well, you know what? And I'm sure that they did, but I hope they did right by everybody on the team. I hope it was split in a fair way that everybody got
so too,
millions.
Yeah.
I hope everyone on that team is worth 8 figures now.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, take care of your people, it turns out. You know?
Yeah.
The people that make your game, they're humans and they need things.
It's true.
Like breaks.
Yeah.
That's why I've always had trouble with large games, is that they are built also on the back of crunch. If you're not in the gaming industry, crunch is when a game is about to come out and they have a hard deadline to meet because of the industry shareholders or whatever it is. And their people work day in and day out, kind of living at the office to the detriment of both their health and their families, as a sort of unspoken job requirement. And I hate that.
I don't mind it as long as they're compensated.
Ooh, okay, fair. That's a fair point. If their compensation
Fairly.
went up with their dedication and they were compensated fairly, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah. And that's subjective, but I think unfortunately people will take less and say that it's okay, even though it's not fair.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's a struggle for sure. But yeah, hopefully we can see more of that, of smaller developers. I would really love to go move away from the quote unquote AAA studio.
It's happening, man. It's happening.
We're watching it in real time.
There's too many. Lethal Company is another one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this was a one-man shop where he developed a game, basically in his closet, right? And he built this game out. It's not a super complex game. He released it, and people simply had a blast playing it. And that drove so much success for the game and for him. He actually didn't end up doing too much more with the game. He definitely added some additional things. He tweaked the game. But he didn't alter it too much. But it's another example of this small dev. This one guy went through, made a project. It exploded, bigger than a lot of these AAA studios dropping titles that are alive for one day and then die and they have to pull down. We're seeing it all over the place. It's a turn of the way we do things. You made a parable of music studios earlier today.
Oh yeah,
and it's the same thing. These big music studios are becoming obsolete through additional channels like TikTok, like YouTube Shorts, like Reels, where these small artists they can build into a larger campaign. Something like an Alex Warren is a great example, where he came from, like, he's just a dude. He's literally just a guy, and he's sitting number one charts, and he sat number one charts for like 3 plus weeks, and no one could top him.
Good for him.
He started on TikTok. That was it, right? It's not some big, music studio. Same thing with these singular devs is they have this channel through, first off, the marketing through stuff like TikTok, Shorts, etc. But the accessibility of being able to display their game, of ease of access with security features like Steam authentication. They can compete now because of all the tools that they have integrated into everything they're working on, to be just as viable of a game as these big studios. And it's bringing big studios down to their knees.
Yeah, for sure. Well, good. I don't want people to lose their jobs, obviously, and I don't want companies to fail. But if you get to be too big that your product is unviable, I mean, that's just how business goes. And I'm really liking seeing the barrier to entry on almost everything in general. As technology evolves and services evolve, the barrier to entry is nil. With the exception of, like, take this podcast for instance. It cost us time and our energy, but outside of that, I mean, the software I use is free. I got a mixing board that I'm using right now for $40 whole. And that was it. That was pretty much it.
Already owned the microphones.
Less than $100, and we can continually do this in perpetuity. So the barrier to entry is being destroyed on the fronts of not just audio production, but graphical production, AI tools. Like, say what you will about quote unquote AI slop. I see that floating around on Twitter right now. Is like, look at this AI slop. Well, the AI slop got a reaction. Okay.
It worked.
There's a particular GIF running around right now of like it looks like a 3D world that's being rendered in with like pixels, but also it's still 3D. It's so bizarre.
I remember you showing me this.
Yeah, it's super cool looking, right?
Super incredible.
Right, but
like,
it was
generated to play that game.
It was generated by AI. Here's the problem. The people who are against this sort of thing label it as AI slop and dismiss it. I don't think it should be dismissed. I think it's given us a glimpse into that particular GIF has given us a glimpse into something that people genuinely want. And if you have to use AI tools to get the basic framework of something stood up, go for it.
No, absolutely.
And we talked about this off air, that if you can use AI to make your workflow stronger or easier, go for it. You should absolutely do that. Now, there are some caveats. I wouldn't want an artist that comes onto my team that exclusively relies on AI. But me as a solo dev, if I don't have any art experience, why wouldn't I use some tools to kind of fill in those gaps and get my first product on the shelf?
That's exactly it. I think that's perfect. And that's what's allowing a lot of these single person or 2-person, maybe 3-person developer teams putting together these amazing projects and games. Is they have all of these new tools readily available to them. I was speaking with my cousin. He's a developer, and for a corporation, right? He does his thing, but he, as a side project, he's starting to work on a video game. And one of the things that he was mentioning to me is he gets to utilize AI to generate not just like 2D art, but 3D renders and 3D art, like for models of game, for characters. And the thought process behind that is it's the same in development, right? Just put something in place, right? If you can just have something there that allows your game to function, you can update it later and redo things the right way with a real artist. But there's now not a barrier to entry where I have to, with zero funds as a single person developer, generate, I don't know, a whole salary for a graphical design person to come through, generate all these 3D models for me in my video game that's in line with what I want, for the setting of my game. I can't afford those types of things. And now I can just use AI to put a placeholder in, to push the game out, generate some revenue, right? Generate some cash flow. And then I can move to the next project or continue development on that project. And then I can hire somebody. And I think that's maybe the I've talked about I don't like these alpha games, but that's what these are. That's what that's really for, is those
Right.
single developers. Hey, I need some cash flow for this project. Who wants to support me during this project, right?
Early access is one of the greatest things to happen in Steam.
For indie developers, 100%. I hate when larger studios do it. I think it's ridiculous.
God. Yeah, if you've already got cash flow,
You have a massive title already out.
Yeah.
Stop doing early releases.
pay your people and put out a product.
Yes.
Or nut up or shut up. Okay,
Yep.
I don't have time for this Ubisoft on early access. Ubisoft should stay away from early access. Like, and maybe that's a bad example, but any company worth
Yeah.
X number of dollars,
It's ridiculous.
come on now.
You got
Come on
100 employees. Stop.
You
Stop
trying
kidding
to
yourself.
you trying to pretend that you can't afford to the cat? Sorry, no, I'm not buying it. Move away.
It's investment. Invest in your product. Invest in a good project, and you don't have to worry about, will it get you an ROI at the end of the day? Yes, if you put proper time into it and build something that someone likes, they're going to purchase your game. You're Ubisoft. Give me a break. Like, someone's going to buy it. You're going to make an ROI on it.
Schedule 1 is the exact representation of that.
Yep.
This guy spent time making a fun thing that everybody wanted, and
Yeah.
he didn't know everybody wanted it, but everybody wanted a fun game, and here we are.
Imagine that, a gamer who wants something, who develops it, puts it out, and then all the other gamers are like, wow, that was a great idea. This does feel good.
Not once when I was a kid browsing Blockbuster for a Sega Genesis game was I thinking, man, I wonder if this gave an ROI to the investors. No, I didn't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
Did Echo
It's
the
true.
Dolphin, was it a fun game to play? Now, that's a bad example because Echo sucks ass. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to play something fun. All right?
Right. I've never thought about game studios as much as I have recently, and it's because of all these small new studios.
Yeah, they're just like popping up.
Yeah.
Even more like they're popping up in a way that is visible now. Because in 2019, this is one of my favorite stats. Steam alone in just 2019 saw 5,000 video games released.
Wow.
Think about that. And it's only going up from there.
Yep.
And once we remove all these barriers to entry, we make the tools easier to use. Yes, we are riding on the backs of giants, and we will never forget you. People like id Software coming up with the notion of don't render something that's not visible to the player.
Yeah.
That seems like a no-brainer, but id Software pioneered that in Doom. You know, we absolutely recognize that. It should never be lost, all of the hard work that's gone into that.
Those were individuals.
Yes, and those were individual. But that said, even though the tools have gotten easier to use, it is become more of a streamlined way to get somebody's idea out.
Correct.
That's
what's important with the indie studios, is it's their idea. Their exciting, their excitement of wanting to produce something that they enjoy and they love, and they get to just put it out there. And then when it has a success, guess what that guy gets to do? He gets to continue piggybacking off of that success to generate either, more development into that singular game, or spin off and do something more robust, right? You can now hire teams using that same inspiration and drive into it. The danger is when they get too big, right?
Yeah.
Continue to try to scale, and then you become the thing you sought to destroy, if you will.
Yeah. The necessary evils start coming into play.
Yeah.
And maybe that's your sign. Maybe that's your sign as a developer. Like, here, we're having to do this now. If you cringe at something, maybe don't do that. Maybe go a different way.
Interesting.
That's such a nebulous thing to say. And,
Yeah.
And devs,
Vague.
I'm hearing you when it comes to the hard work that you pour into your games. I'm hearing that. I get it. But if you are simply pouring labor hours into something, like, for example, would it be better for me to simply use a pre-built game engine, or would it be more what's the word here? Would it be more acceptable to the larger gaming community for me to build my own engine from scratch?
Right.
I don't have the know-how or time to do that. Why don't I just use Godot?
Yep.
The same thing is happening with the graphical design space. As far as like AI is concerned, you might label it as slop, but the asset got generated and I didn't have to pay anybody to do it. And I can go from there and work from that template if I want to. Hell, I've seen entire games that use nothing but AI generated assets. Are they good? I don't know. That doesn't matter. The point is the tool is available and it should be leveraged.
I agree.
One way or the other. Well, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack from developers and artists about that.
Yeah. A little
But,
controversial, but
at the end of the day, I'm still just a consumer, and I don't care how you arrived at the conclusion. If you used all AI to generate your whole game, and I still am able to sink 100 hours into it would not bat an eye, it's a good product. Yeah,
True. Yeah, I mean, I can't complain. There's an ethical conversation I guess you can have about it, but
is there?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah, completely eliminating people out of the art of a video game, even if it is, it's for a sustainability purpose. I think is the the truth behind it, because there has to be AI is only regenerating what it already knows. So eventually it will be a feedback loop, and we will not have new generated things if that becomes the norm. But I mean, I guess to some degree we already see that with the giant corporations. Regurgitated content.
People are just a collection of things that they know.
But that's where artists come into play. Artists are the creatives.
Right.
They
you
make
can get
something new.
90% of the way there, honestly, with AI tools.
Yeah.
Putting that little human touch on it is vital, for sure.
That makes the creation of it.
Yes, but standing up a framework, that's really where I'm pushing that AI is important. Because if I said to the thing, I need a GD script code to make my character punch or whatever, I might not get the greatest code in the world, but I'll get something functional. And then I can look at it, see what it's doing, tighten it up, adjust it, depending on my own skill level. I would imagine that there are senior devs who have been developing games for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And many of them are probably using LLMs on the DL for specific things.
Oh, developers have been using LLMs for years now.
So then
Years.
The whole argument of you can't use these tools because they're cutting out the work that should be done by humans is moot.
Yeah.
We've already been doing that.
I think
in fact, the progression of games from the Pong on the oscilloscope in the 60s all the way up to now has been nothing but that. What did a person do to make this sound happen in Descent in the early 90s? Okay, well, we know how they did that. Let's do it quicker. Okay, let's do it quicker. Now I can just go to the computer and say explosion sound, and I'll get a zillion explosion sounds.
Refinement. Maybe the word is refinement. But yeah, it's
But
it's
if
exactly
we remember back in the day, we had sound blasters and ad-lib sound
term
cars.
they used to use was don't reinvent the wheel.
Exactly. We used to use that term, but now we're going, oh, the AI is going to take my job. No, dude, it's just a really souped up version of the wheel.
It does it faster than you do it, and that's all that we like. You don't have to spend time doing that task anymore. Just do the part that actually mattered.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Back in the day when artists such as, I don't know, I guess I'll use Da Vinci as a placeholder, but that's a really bad example. But you would have artists that would paint these huge, giant, the Sistine Chapel. That's actually a really good example.
Fantastic.
Michelangelo did the Sistine Chapel, and he had a team of people doing the large portions of the painting, the base colors.
Yeah.
The details he went back and did himself later. Dude didn't paint that whole ceiling by himself.
Correct.
So if you can leverage LLMs in a way that it becomes your grunt work team and not have to burn a bunch of humans out and burn a bunch of capital on that, you should absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Hire a single artist or a group of artists that can take that framework that you've generated and make it something unique and beautiful based on their skill set. But it shrinks the necessity of bloat in an art department or a sound department.
Right.
We've got the basics of what we want. Let's refine it. Let's put those details on it that make it something special.
Yeah,
and I think that's a really great thing, because then you can see smaller teams do bigger and bigger stuff. You remember when I was talking to you about pixel art?
Yeah.
Pixel art was huge in the indie game space because it was easy to do and the tools became easy to use.
Yeah.
Now what I'm seeing is a ton of indie games that a lot of them aren't even released yet. They look like the PlayStation. The indie game people are graduating to a more commonplace low poly look.
Yeah,
and
the 3D
I'm into
polygon.
It might be something that's like in the zeitgeist right now, like as an aesthetic.
Of course.
But the tools are there, and
that's why it's becoming a thing, is because those singular platforms that used to produce the pixel games have upgraded essentially to now what is like the 3D polygon PlayStation 1, not quite PlayStation 2, I guess, but somewhere around that ballpark, graphical fidelity.
Yeah, and I'm here for it. I'm here for that.
I agree.
all
Because
the
it's
way.
creating more of what it's closer to what we play games like today. The graphics just are maybe what we nostalgically saw back, in early 2000s.
Yes, modern quality of life for games. If you took a lot of QOL stuff that we do in modern games and slapped it on, say, a Resident Evil 2,
Oh boy,
it would change everything. But I'm also still here for the classic trappings,
Yep.
fixed camera angles, tank controls, whatever.
Right.
It's really hard to walk the line of, is this nostalgia or is this just a poorly implemented system?
Definitely both,
and
right?
I'm loving watching small studios try to navigate that. I got into a playtest for another game called Misery, and it's not quite there, but it has potential. It has real potential. The vibe of it is really cool.
And when they get it right, it blows up.
Yep. And when they get it right, it
Because
blows
they have
up.
a
A la
platform.
Schedule 1.
Yeah.
Prime example.
Yep.
Well, I guess the moral of the story on that section is for the indie studio developers, keep going, brother.
Yeah, keep trucking along. We're
Keep
here to
trucking along.
support you.
We're here to play them.
I will throw my money at you because first off, your game's cheaper than AAA, quadruple A studios, and damn, you do give me a lot of content for that amount of money.
Yeah, for sure. I'd rather spend $10 on a 4-hour really good experience than $60 on a 40-hour experience that is like fine.
Oh, I 100% agree. I think that's why these little like multiplayer. I'm gonna keep going in, but I think that's why these like multiplayer co-op games with your buddies, like it's the 4-player, 5-player, maybe 6-player. Some of them are doing 8-player matches where you're in some sort of a game with 8 of your friends potentially, or 4 of your friends potentially online, and it's kind of repeatable content. But because there's the variable of the human inside the game, it creates almost infinite possibilities. And so they don't have to spend so much time on developing content to do because they're focused on how do the players interact and create the content that that's in the game essentially.
Sure.
And I mean, it creates there's tons of those, and those keep rising to the top really fast. Where you just you're playing with like a couple of your buddies, and it's a simplistic game, but boy, is it fun to play with your friends.
Heck yeah. Yeah, let's get more of that.
More of it, please. It's good.
More stuff.
Give it
More
to
stuff
me.
from indie developers.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's pivot real quick to something. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay. WoW migration to RuneScape. You wrote that down. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, we saw.
Fill me in.
We saw this like massive migration from World of Warcraft player base.
Oh, like you're talking players moved from one game to the next.
Player base moved over to RuneScape.
Hopefully they're not getting their armor trimmed or anything.
Oh man, I'm sure they are.
An influx of newbies.
Yeah, and I don't exactly know the full scope of why they were doing this entirely, but I do understand that there's a large player base that is saying they're kind of sick and tired of like some of this redundant content.
There's just
and
the stuff that what company is
Blizzard, yeah, good old Blizzard.
Good old Blizzard.
Gosh. It basically, this is going to kind of harp a little bit about what we've been talking about, and the modern World of Warcraft world that is currently developed, is kind of getting tired of the cycle that a big studio puts you in, where they pump out this content and they don't reward those who have been loyal. They don't listen to those who have been loyal throughout the entire process. The people who are playing the games, again, it comes down to that transparency. You get to put in these feature requests, and then boom, you get it. As a player, you have these really loyal, really intense players in the World of Warcraft scene where they have been around since 2004.
Yeah.
Steady, right? Subscription has been on for over 20 years.
Can you imagine?
There's plenty of them out there.
I know it.
I am definitely not one of those, but there's plenty of them out there.
That's dedication right there.
It really is. And it's showing because I think people are realizing that the old school RuneScape, where they have successfully pivoted and rekindled something that we used to play has been because they have strictly held development to a player-based decision. They literally have a voting system that they implemented into the game for feature developments.
That's genius.
And they will not implement it unless there is consensus that this feature needs to be implemented. And so what it's done is it stopped the nature of the beast of corporate to integrate into the game and suck all the money out of your pockets, right? Where microtransactions come into play. They do have it. They do have those things. It's not entirely free of some of those modern things, but the thing is it's been kept from the atrocities of here's a skin for your character to wear, right? That type of stuff where it's like, it's aesthetic. I'm just paying for this. You're just shoving advertisements of the game in my face consistently where this is, we do.
I said that earlier. You want to give me a clean start menu, please?
Yeah. You get into the game and you can play the game. You don't have to do these microtransactions. Now the subscription is, I would say, if you're actually going to play RuneScape, you have to do the subscription, which again is, I would say, is fair to some degree. But they've optimized it, right? Like they've set it up based on how the players want to enjoy and play the game. And what that's done is it's only continually driven players back to the game and new players to the game. There was a part of the movement is coming from a big, large set of streamers. Some of the OG Twitch streamers, Soda Poppin is kind of the helm of that grouping. And they were playing the hardcore I don't think it was Iron Man, but they were playing the hardcore version of Vanilla WoW or the anniversary servers, which I think were on. No, those were classic servers. So it was Vanilla WoW anniversary servers. So there's a little bit of tweaks, some quality of life in there, but it was a hardcore version. So you die, you're dead, you're gone. Like you have to recreate a character, which for Vanilla WoW is brutal.
That sounds brutal.
It's like 3 months for someone on a Twitch streamer level who's putting 8 hours a day or plus on a character to get max level.
Damn.
It's brutal, man. So they're seeing that player base shift over to RuneScape through some of those streamers kind of pushing it. This is Soda Poppin's first time ever playing RuneScape, and so he's kind of going through the experience of what RuneScape is.
Onboarding.
And they're doing it. They're doing Iron Man style, which if you're not aware of is it's a
hardcore.
So it's a hardcore style. So in RuneScape, what that means is I think you're allowed to die in Iron Man, but the caveat is you can't directly trade with players.
Oh, okay. So it's like your progress alone.
Yeah. Now, I think the way maybe they're doing it, I would have to double check, but I think they're doing it based on their clan. So their clan that they're playing with. So they kind of create. They have their player group that they play games with.
Yeah.
Just like they did in WoW, they created a guild or whatever. I think they're allowed to trade amongst these people.
Okay.
And so they're all fresh players. So they're all coming in. They're not like they're massive.
It's not like
titans
it's not gaming
game.
the system.
Yeah. So
that's like when I played Diablo 3, it was that. It was gaming the system. I'd get in the chat, I'm looking for a group, max level, like 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I think they're staying away from that, but I mean they're enjoying the game. It's bringing up again a great point of like when the players are saying, "Hey, we want these things. Maybe you should listen."
Absolutely.
And just because their wallet maybe speaks differently because your marketing's too damn good, maybe it's not necessarily what they want.
I would say some of that onus belongs on the players.
It does. 100%
Actually,
does.
100% of the onus belongs on the players because we have to vote with our wallets.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
The problem is most people, we also have a big influx of younger people who are playing games and will be more easily manipulated by the marketing and sales tactics.
Yep.
It's why Fortnite got into a massive lawsuit is they had, what is their player base? It's these like 12 and under kids. And these kids can't decide to make transactions legally by themselves through companies selling and marketing them like this. And so what happened is they're getting knocked and hit for millions and millions of, I can't remember what the number was. It was massive. And they're having to refund people because with a lot of cash. And I think it's like equating to about, on average, if you took the player base, about $170 per player.
That's a lot.
That's insane, dude.
It's a lot of money.
And it's because, again, their marketing and sales, it works. Who's to blame? I think in
Gray area.
Yeah, I think to say that it's the kid's fault is not true.
I agree.
You can talk about a parenting aspect of it, and your kids shouldn't be, in a place where they can be manipulated. You should be watching over your children better than that. You can have that conversation. I think that's fair. But I also think it's not fair to say, well, it's not the corporate's fault that they're really good at selling and have driven this business based on that has worked because a younger player base is more susceptible to it. And then that drives their metrics to go, well, people want this. And then you have, we'll call ourselves free thinkers here, going and looking at, the systems of all these microtransactions and saying, dude, I don't want this.
Yeah.
And are we doing microtransactions every once in a while?
Maybe.
Yes,
Maybe.
kind of.
Maybe.
Not in every game, and certainly not often, I would say.
Only when I want to. That's the thing, is that
You're not selling me.
What I'm averse to on a microtransaction level is something I have to do.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely averse to that. Or not getting the thing that I paid for.
Yes.
Like blind boxes, don't even get me started on blind boxes.
Yeah, when you
atrocity.
try to manipulate me to purchase something, I'm closing your game.
Yeah, I'm uninstalling
those
game.
stupid phone apps where it's like your currencies in the game are basically unusable unless you pay to get that currency with real cash. I'm uninstalling your game immediately. I'm not dealing with you.
Yeah,
I think
hard pass.
Yeah, it's just unacceptable.
It's scummy.
Yeah, it's scummy. It is.
Ugh.
Just tell me you need a subscription.
Yeah, straight up. Just say it outright. It's fine. That's a lot of the trouble with big game companies. Like, they have to go through this PR department to make sure their corporate image isn't tainted, when in reality it would be less tainted if they would say, look, there's some bad shit that went down and we're fixing it. Here's how we're fixing it. And
Transparency.
we're way more transparent on stuff. Trying to bury the lead or bury the story under a rug is never, ever, ever, ever under any circumstances a good look. You have to lean into it one way or the other. Yes, this happened. Yes, this didn't happen. Or no, this didn't happen. Whatever the case may be, you really need to own it. And companies not owning their shortcomings is a huge problem.
Yeah, I agree.
And you know what? What is the consequence of that? WoW migration to RuneScape. That is the consequence of that. When you treat your player base like they don't matter, your player base finds another toy. They're going to go do something different, and they should. You only are. What's the phrase that Aiden uses? You only deserve what you tolerate.
Oh yeah,
you only deserve, and we're tolerating right now. Yeah, Beavis and Butthead in Call of Duty, when we should be going, no, I'm uninstalling. I'm not playing this stupid game anymore.
Yep.
Go find a new thing to do.
Agreed. I just looked up the the consensus across why people are migrating from WoW to RuneScape.
Okay, did you get it off of Perplexity or something?
Just Google search.
Oh, okay.
And it said the migration is driven by players' dissatisfaction with the recent developments in WoW and the appeal of old school RuneScape's unique gameplay community and developer transparency.
There it is.
Because again, they're not making their decisions based on what they want as a company. They're making it based on the players.
And look, there's something to be said for doing the thing that you want to do, right? A lot of indie developers come up against the wall of, well, I want to make this thing and it says something. It's my art, but people don't really want to buy it. So should the art be compromised in service of making money?
Right.
I guess that depends on what you're making. If you're making something that relies on people buying it, such as an online persistent multiplayer game, yeah, that kind of matters. Listening to your fans is vital in that scenario. That said, there's another game that I was looking at called Vile. I think it's Vile Exhumed. It's a really, really niche thing that deals with, sexual assault and some really, really, really heavy topics. That piece of art, whether it sells or not, is important to that developer, and it should be absolutely not compromised by whether or not that would sell. Because I can tell you, based on what I've seen of this game, the message and what it's trying to present to you is important as a piece of art, as it is. Right. It's making a statement. Fortnite's not making a fucking statement. Fortnite is cramming every cartoon character you can absolutely get into this game,
sure,
to make a fun product for the kids.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, if Fortnite is listening to their players on what they want because they're an online persistent game and they require a high player count for it to be successful, they should absolutely do things in service of the player. The only time that doesn't apply is where I have a vision for this game and it needs to look and feel a specific way. Otherwise, the art is compromised. That's where you have to
art versus
take
business.
a stop. Yeah, art versus business. It's not completely separated. There is a Venn diagram.
It has to be.
The overlap of said Venn diagram depends on the, because for Fortnite, it's 1-to-1. Players drive Fortnite, period.
Yep.
And because of the nature of that game, those circles overlap. But for something like Vile Exhumed, maybe those circles don't overlap at all because this person is trying to tell their story and they need to get it out in a specific way that maybe is really intense. And that's just how it is. So yeah, where do you draw the line? Big companies need to find a better place for that line is what we're getting at.
Yeah, absolutely.
The where they've drawn the line between what players want and what they want to put out, it needs to be shifted somewhere because it's not working.
Yeah.
Your players are unsatisfied even if the numbers don't show that.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to say.
It does. Yeah, it's a super weird thing to say. But that's the problem is whenever you get to the larger studios, it's no longer about the player base. It's about the shareholders. And I mean,
they're not the player base, unfortunately.
And you can't. What do you fight? They're looking at the numbers, and that's it, right? So yeah. Who knows, man?
What can you do? Honestly, the only thing we can do is just not buy their dog shit.
Continue to vote with your wallet.
Vote with your wallet. If you think a thing's bad, don't buy it.
Yeah.
Period. Not. I mean, unfortunately, our opinions are analog opinions.
What's the phrase? Compliance or like when you're complacent with something, when you just allow something to happen, you are not just being neutral. You are enabling.
Yeah. If Rush said it best, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
Yeah. And that's what people are doing with microtransactions. When you buy the game and then don't buy the microtransactions, you still funded the idea of that studio, right? If that's your stance, I don't want microtransactions in my games. Stop purchasing games with microtransactions. Does it suck because you can't play the new title? Probably so. But if that's what we have to do to see microtransactions be shifted, right, to something different, to something better, then because the money has to flow somewhere, and that's I understand that part of the business, right? People have they're producing it. There's developers. People need to be paid.
Yeah,
and that's not what we're saying. I don't think anyone's saying that they don't want to pay what the game's worth.
Yeah,
I think the way that they're going about it is irritating, to say the least. It's the lack of transparency in what the objective is with these microtransactions, how they're altering games from a Call of Duty to a cartoon game, and it's dissatisfaction.
Yeah, they really need to do. I think companies in general need to do a better job of listening to their clientele in the gaming space.
Yeah,
and the larger they get, the more they need to listen.
I think adopting something, like old school RuneScape has done, where the community really gets to have a open opinion and communication with the developers, and genuinely being a part, essentially, of those shareholder meetings, with their votes, I think is incredible. That's the transparency that, like I mentioned earlier with that vendor that we have, where they're listening to their partners, they're listening to their game players.
Oh man, I just had an innovative idea. Maybe this has been tried before.
Say it.
Okay, picture this, a shareholder meeting where the primary lead guy is hosting it. They've got all the shareholders on, and the entirety of the gaming player base is allowed to join this meeting. Everybody in the player base is muted. No one can talk. I can get behind that.
Yeah, sure.
But each time there's a decision that comes up, a poll comes up. Let's say there's a gaming feature that's on the table. Solicit feedback directly from the people who are playing the game. Live in the shareholder meeting.
Yes.
Oh, does the player base want that? Let's watch the poll. Let's give it 2 minutes. And then we get a poll of, do you want this, that, or the other? And then the shareholders can see live that their player base wants X, Y, or Z.
I think there's definitely a value to that. It can't necessarily be entirely based on that. And here's why.
Right, of course, but you kind of want to take a temperature, right?
Correct. It gives you initial temperature. Here's why I think it's a skewed, that would be a skewed poll, because you have the very committed, intense players, or the people who are, let's say, they have jobs or something like that. They're busy people.
Right.
And they're not always going to be available for your live meetings. But if you have a persistent poll over a course of time for your player base, and that's how old school RuneScape does it. Is they have a polling center literally in the game. You go to a polling center
in
the
That's
game,
so cool.
and you actually vote at the polling center based on the current objectives from the developers, what they want to implement. And they give you like 3 different options, and you can pick one of the 3, or you can say, I don't like any of these.
Schedule 1 has the same thing right up on the menu. It's like, what do you want the next feature to be? Rival cartels.
It's the transparency, man.
Right
the communication with the developers, and then them saying, okay, we're not going to do, even though we think it's a great idea, if the consensus of the player base over a course of time where you get a full scope of your player base, your no-lifers, your full-time job people, your kids, your adults, your youngs, right? You get all of the full scope of people. And and the consensus is, hey, we don't really want this.
Yeah.
I don't care if it makes you more money.
Don't do that.
Don't do it. Find a different way.
Yeah. Figure it out.
That's what they have to figure out. Old school RuneScape, I think, has cracked it, and that's why they're seeing growth, steady growth over the last, since I think, when did they come out with their? Well, decades for sure. But when they came out with old school RuneScape on the phone, that surged their player base.
Interesting.
Massively.
I love that. That's cool.
And they've consistently seen growth. Let's see. This was released back in 2018. They have been exploding slowly but surely for the last several years. Almost. This is like they're getting close to like 10 years.
Jeez.
Right? Of just consistent
growth.
Raw, consistent, straight line up, dude. It's unbelievable. There's like we talked about this a little bit off the air at one point where this MMO culture. There's this section of YouTube that is like MMO inspirational videos, if you will. So they're like, they're like, what MMO should you play? Like, who's doing good? Who's the top MMOs? And they'll kind of give you these recaps, and you can see the progression of RuneScape. It's typically always on the list, but now it's like top 3. Awesome. They're consistently just slamming to the top.
Good for them for sticking with it.
And man, they have been just climbing the ladder because they've been listening to their player base, and
that's how you do it.
Can't argue with that, man. You cannot argue with it.
Listen, it turns out if you're selling things to people, you want to listen to what they want.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, do what they want, and they're going to send you money. Love it.
Well, actually, we're getting a little short on time right now, so we're going to go ahead and wrap everything up. It's been wonderful having this discussion with you. We did have an email come in. The email address is podcast@umbrellafight.xyz. You heard that right. We can do that now, .xyz. And send us your questions. Send us your opinions. Let us know what you think. We do have an email from Andrew. He asked, we're going to take this one real quick. What is the best Souls-borne game? That's a pretty loaded question. It's Bloodborne. So, okay. Everybody have a good week. No, I'm just kidding.
Game over.
No, for me, it's Bloodborne. So, I'm sorry. I thought I heard a knock on the door.
I didn't hear.
Oh, that's just me. Never mind. So yeah, it's Bloodborne. I like the aesthetic. I think the aggressive gameplay is really, really good. I like the idea of just really getting in there with that gun instead of a shield. It just suits my tastes a whole lot better. What about you?
Are we talking all Souls-like games? Or are we talking?
Well, it says Souls-borne. So I think let's stick with From Software if we can tighten that discussion up.
I mean, so I've played 3 of them, not all the way through for each of them, but I've definitely, and I'm a Dark Souls and then Elden Ring.
So good.
The first, the second, and then Elden Ring. I never got to play the third Dark Souls game. I would say out of those, definitely number 2 hooked me, but I would say best of all time,
it's Bloodborne.
It's Elden Ring.
Oh,
it's got to be Elden Ring.
You casual.
Yes,
no,
absolutely.
It absolutely is a banger of a
I think
game.
that's why it's a better game.
Okay. I can hear that argument for sure.
It's more open, right? It's the barrier to entry is lower, but there is not a super insane skill cap necessarily, right? You're still going to encounter those really tough.
Yeah, and you can make it as hard as you want, really.
Yeah, 100%. You can still be level 1 and go all the way through the game.
All right, so the consensus is that it's Bloodborne with a close second of Elden Ring.
Boom. What? Hold on, that was a fast one. No.
I got you. No, but for real, I just wanted to say real quick, thank you for listening. If you stumbled across our podcast, if you know one of us, it doesn't matter. Thank you so much for being here. Just want to say real quick that you're amazing, you're awesome, and the work you do matters. And remember to call your mom, call your dad, call your friends, call your family. Tell them you love them because life is too damn short.
Yeah, it is.
All right, that's going to wrap up our show. Let's go ahead and cue the music. Peace.
qualify.